Welcome to Aaron's Reading Room in the Reading Room Book Club. Thank you for being here, or thank you for watching on the replay. Today, this month's book was This Time Next Year by Sophie Cousens. I think that's how you pronounce it. That's how I'm pronouncing it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, Ryan, I'm actually interested. I'm surprised to see you here, to be completely honest.
I was like, I'll give it a chance. I mean, in my very brief overview, it's total garbage. Like, I didn't feel like I got anything interesting out of it. But it wasn't a bad story. Like, I followed along and I didn't really have trouble. It was just like, oh, hey, all right, let's listen to this a little bit. Like, but it wasn't like I would come away being like, oh gosh, you need to read this to anyone.
Okay.
Fair.
I guess, yeah. I wouldn't expect a book like this to like blow my mind or anything. I guess, yeah. But I had a good time reading it.
It was fun.
Yeah.
There was nothing wrong with it per se. It just seemed kind of like, oh, it's kind of a quaint little story. Like, okay.
So Ryan has a stone cold heart that does not beat. So that's what we've established. So I'm kidding.
Oh.
Well, in this story, we had Minnie and Quinn, who were born at pretty much the same minute of the year 1990 on New Year's Day, and one of them, they weren't trying, their mothers weren't trying for it, but one of them was going to be the New Year's baby of 1990 and win like 50,000 pounds in prize money or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I actually enjoyed the story of the moms in the hospital, like being doula for each other while they're
it was really cute.
No, I mean, that was definitely really cute and very, very sweet. It was very, like, I guess for me, this was a very relatable story. Like, you could see how this happened, or how someone could do that in their lives, where the main character is Minnie is just oh my gosh, I wasn't the first one born, they stole my name, and oh, my life's been shit because of it.
Right.
Those things where it's like, yeah, projecting a little bit there.
So yeah, that's Minnie's basically her base of her character is that she feels like she's had bad luck her entire life, and especially on her birthday, because all her luck was stolen from her by Quinn Hamilton.
Which, when you say it out loud, sounds ridiculous. Like,
right.
Like, come on now.
Yeah. I mean, like, main character syndrome much, but I mean, she does have pretty bad luck, but how much of it was her just thinking it was bad luck? Because someone even tells her, it's like, is it bad luck, or are you just like making bad decisions?
I can relate to some of them because I was locked in a bathroom that the doorknob fell off and people couldn't hear me.
Oh no.
And the worst part is I was in the bathroom of my dorm.
Oh no.
So, like, the guys who heard me were basketball players. They were like, well, they had to go get like someone to break the door down to let me out, and I'm in my bath towel because I literally just took a shower. I'm like, please just kill me. Please. So that, like, I felt on a spiritual level. I was like, someone, no, yeah.
Oh no.
It was pretty bad.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way she could have known that the door handle was going to break. Yeah, but I mean, gross. Like, sleeping
and
on.
Her boyfriend was just douchey. Like, who leaves the party without making sure your girlfriend that you showed up with is there, or whoever you showed up with, you live with? Like,
yeah. I didn't care for Greg. So yeah, it was Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't care for Greg at all. Even when like tried to redeem him at the end there.
I was like, too little, too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think that was just an effort to show that, as much as they thought things were all right, things were not all right. And I don't know. I didn't think of him as a bad person, just as kind of an annoying one.
Complacent.
I mean, who tells their partner, well, you're 70%, so you're enough. Like, no one's perfect, so like that,
I don't think anyone consciously thinks that, but I think in reality that's a very strong truth.
There
Yeah,
is
but
no.
you don't say it.
Yeah, right.
Right, but like I said, I don't even think someone necessarily thinks it.
Yeah. Or it could just be complacency, like, oh, she's the best I can get, so I'm not even gonna try anymore.
Honestly, he was probably like, she's the best I've got right now. If something better comes along, I'll just trade in. That's the kind of person I think Greg is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually a little shocked that Quinn's ex-girlfriend, what was her name?
Oh God.
Was it Allison? I don't know. No.
I don't know.
Linda?
The one from the beginning, from the party.
I think her name was her name.
I don't think it was Linda.
I think they would be
Lucy?
perfect for each other.
Yeah.
Lucy. Yeah, Lucy.
Okay, there we go. You'd think I'd remember that.
Right.
That's my child's name.
But yeah, let's see what else. Probably my favorite part, the most memorable part, was the shopping list that no, it wasn't a shopping list. It was like a to-do list for the day, and they were
the importance list of like what to do first.
Right, and it's got these huge items, and then like number 7, buy cat food. Yes.
Number 1, get a life. Like,
right.
it was just so. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple things that like kind of bothered me just about the plot. Like when they first got to the when Quinn ordered out the pies with that first time for his corporate things, and it was like, how do you not see that you should just subsidize your low income pies with the corporate ones?
Because that's not the kind of job she wanted to do. She
just wanted to help.
But it was like, okay, it's clearly not working, financially to do this. So why not retool it and do it a different way? It's just that moment of like, okay, we got to figure out how to stretch out the story, but let's make sure that these 5 people that are involved in this don't have a clue about what to do.
I actually appreciated the losing the business that
because that was more realistic.
Yeah, because I was expecting the whole like, oh yeah, we're gonna, thread it all however we need to, and then something's gonna swoop up in the end, and we're gonna have this great investor, and oh my gosh, and then they kiss, and because that's how they usually play out in a romance novel. So
yeah,
I actually had to back. I was like, wait a second. She actually folded the business.
I really like the side characters too. Like the side characters were great.
Yeah. Side characters were awesome. I liked most of her coworkers. It wasn't Faith. Fleur. That's yeah. I need the next week off because Quentin Tarantino's cinematographer is going to be in town.
Right. Where it's just like, okay.
Sure. Okay. You could just say you have a dentist appointment.
Right. Oh gosh.
I want like the mom and the dad love story. I thought they were so cute.
They were pretty cute.
They were adorable. I was like, I just want their little like side story.
I liked like some of that like stuff that didn't get too deep into, like, clearly the mothers, after the Quinn and Minnie met, they reunited, and there's like a whole story going on there because they were BFFs. And
I wanted to know more about that too. I was like,
about that. Yeah,
can we just like pivot that way?
Right. Yeah. That was really interesting because like Minnie's mother had someone to like pour her attention into now, and someone that wanted it.
Right.
Like, all right, we're just gonna go outside and we're gonna garden. That's what it's like. Come on.
Right. Well, it
We're
was
gonna
just
we're gonna
interesting
pivot your
because-
focus from your child to something
right.
else.
And it was interesting to me because, like she said, she's like, she never knew her mother as like a person with hobbies or with, kindness particularly. Like, she wasn't necessarily mean, but she wasn't necessarily like a loving, nurturing mother. And she saw more of that side of her mother when she became friends with the other lady.
Yeah.
I think it's also a generational thing. Like I feel like our generation is more vocal and more showing with their emotions than previous generations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which it seemed like she kept a lot of stuff bottled up. The like resentment towards this person that she knew for one night, and
then they become best
so
friends. I'm like, wait, how did you get over the resentment of 30 years of? Like, I want to know that.
Has anyone actually ever had a meat pie? Like,
I don't know that I ever have.
I've had shepherd's pie, but I don't know if that technically counts.
No, like, I don't think that would, in comparison to the kind that Minnie makes. Yeah, but that's like, it's pretty standard, like, English cuisine, I guess, or day-to-day cuisine.
Comfort
like, that's
food.
essentially the hamburger of England.
I would be down to eat it though. It sounded.
I know.
I was like, I want some, please.
Right. Yeah. I want to try some.
I don't know. I'm so strange about meat. Like, in a pie, it just sounds creepy.
Would have to be. Well,
I just think about it like a chicken pot pie, and they just no.
Oh, that's right. You always have.
You don't like chicken pot pie?
No.
I used to work at a place that would make chicken pot pies, and I would bring the leftovers home sometimes.
I freaking love chicken pie.
Gross! It looks like you're eating puke.
Chicken pot pie is amazing. Are you kidding?
Yeah, what are you talking
Especially
about?
when you make it from scratch.
Oh gosh, like peas and carrots and like this like white gravy, just gross.
Please don't tell me you hate peas and carrots.
I enjoy raw carrots.
Okay.
Cooked veggies are not my thing.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Right. But I don't know. I mean, I liked a lot of different things in the book. Like I said, the book on the whole, if it wasn't for the book club, I would never in a million years have read it. Like, I just remember being like, oh, this is like a Good Morning America's like top pick or whatever. And it was just like, it wasn't bad. It was modern, but I didn't come away, like I said, feeling like, oh man, I really felt like I took something away from that book and it'll stick with me.
Oh yeah. I mean, romance readers are like voracious and can read like.
Not every book has to stick with you, though.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, you gotta live in the present sometimes and just enjoy what you're reading.
But even that, like, I mean, I guess you guys are more used to like the varied stuff, but I'm just like, there's not even any smut anywhere close to smut.
I didn't even notice that until the book ended. I was like, wait, there wasn't even a love scene in here.
When she's having those conversations with her friend and she's like, wait, you kissed? That's it?
Yeah.
There was no hanky-panky, there was no nothing, and the friend's just like, you are so boring.
The banana scene was kind of weird, though. I was like, why?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
like it just made me uncomfortable reading it. I'm like, can we not? Like,
people are weird, man. Like that.
Again, I'm not trying to like kink shame anybody, but that was just straight up weird. I was like, you're doing this whole thing over a banana. And it's not even like.
Well, once again, it's
like the innuendo of a banana. It's a banana.
I feel like it's her trying to be as sexual as possible without being as sexual as possible.
Yeah. Well, this was traditionally published. That's why.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that banana.
That was the only scene that I was just like, why? It was just so awkward.
I mean, that was the scene where I thought something was gonna happen. I was like, oh man, this,
Right there, and then there's nothing. I'm like, why?
But very realistic in the this is super awkward.
Very realistic in the oh shit, my parents are at the front door. We gotta hug.
As a 30-year-old.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Which happened too, right? When they were moving in, or she was moving into her new place.
And then it was so awkward. They were
Right.
trying to make a cup of tea, and it was just awkward. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I felt that one.
What I loved was that like even at 30 they made it awkward and weird and hilarious. Like
Because it still
what are the
is. Like,
chances of a parent walking in, when you're right there at the age of 30? In any other situation where it was like, oh, she just moved into a new place, the lock didn't latch very well or whatever, like I just thought that was comical, where it's just like, oh, like what are the odds?
yeah, you turn into a 12-year-old the minute your parents come around. You're just like, oh God. Please. Oh God.
What did y'all think? Go ahead.
Can we circle back to the fact that she's named Minnie freaking Cooper?
Yeah.
Like, really?
At least the book made a joke about it too.
I was like, what?
I mean, if you were like, I feel like it wouldn't be so bad if you were living in like South America or something, but to actually be in London and be named Minnie Cooper.
Right.
I would legally change my name. I'm sorry.
Right?
I love my parents, but I would be like, yo, the day I turn 18, my name is getting changed.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I know. She could have just changed her.
It's literally $200 to change your name.
Yeah. Well, and then all the places you got to notify for.
Yeah.
but like she could have.
Really?
We could have had a Quinn romance here, because Quinn Cooper would make a pretty cool name.
Yeah, it would.
What did you guys think of the dual timeline?
I really like dual timelines.
I didn't mind it, actually.
Yeah.
Like, it was interesting. Like, it kind of gave a little bit more backstory, just kind of on the person that she was and stuff. Like, the first few times it was a little bit of a trip, and then it was like, okay, once you got into the rhythm of it, it wasn't too bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When did you notice that they were actually like connecting at some level in each of those flashbacks?
It took me a while. Like, I should have clued in on the India one too. I'm just like, how did I not pick that up? And then
Fleabag dog.
Yeah. Or then at the end when Quinn realized it.
Because
I think she was the girl that he kissed.
Yes.
The one that died.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's what I was like. I was like, wait, what? Like, it was definitely a nice little sly thing there, and it was like, oh, this is why we're doing all this.
Yeah.
The scene that I remembered was like the scene where she was working in the French restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Dessert or something, and I was like, wait a second, back up here. Like, that's where it finally clicked for me. But that's a good chunk into the book. I'm looking back at it, like Ryan said, I was like, how the hell did I not connect it at all
earlier?
Yeah. I knew it was a possibility at the what it would have been, like the freshman dance or whatever that they went to, and it was the most magical kiss that he'd ever had. I was like, oh, that's got to be her, because that's just how these books work, and it's great, and I loved it for it.
It just brought me back to the time that I went to those underage clubs back in the day, and they're so not like, you're just like, you look back at it now, you're like, what the hell was I doing at 14 hanging out at a club called Shampoo? Like that's what it was called. It was called Shampoo. Literally, I'm just like, oh my God.
Not at least call it Hairspray, seriously.
Right.
Oh my God.
Or at least make a pun to the damn musical.
It's one of those things that, like, it's more of a regional thing. I remember being in Connecticut at a friend's place and seeing just this janky little club right there on like this block, and I had seen there was hundreds of people lined up on both sides to get into this club.
Yep.
And that doesn't exist out here in Oregon. Like, you never see that ever. You might see like 5 or 10 people waiting. Yeah. But it's like one of those things where I think that's probably also what happens there in the UK, where it's like, these kids are bored, they don't have anything to do, and so they open up these clubs or whatever. But like it's definitely like out here doesn't happen.
I remember there were a few that tried to do like an 18 and older, and they didn't serve alcohol, but then it was just like a place to attract creepers that were trying to like
Yeah.
scoop up 18-year-olds. Yeah, they
So
never
it's
so wrong.
lasted.
Yeah, the one near me was actually you could get in there at 21. They served alcohol if you were 21, but you can get in there.
Oh, okay. That's even worse.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm just like, how did I survive? Like, it's one of those things that you look back as an adult, you're like, how am I still functioning as a human being? Like, I don't understand.
How did I survive adolescence and
Yeah,
young
how
adulthood?
did I not end up like a statistic somewhere?
Let's see. What else was there?
I can't remember her name, but I loved the baker that was like obsessed with plastic.
Oh,
What was
was
her
it
name?
Donna?
It was my favorite.
It wasn't Donna. I feel like it was a D name though.
Was it Dolores?
No.
But she was having the existential crisis that one other
Yeah. She was my
driver kept
favorite.
making fun of her.
Yeah.
It's like nice guy, yeah. Make fun of the lady that's got
I
struggling with mental issues.
I kind of wondered if he was making fun of her because he liked her.
Oh,
that's the vibe I was getting.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is part of a series, isn't it?
I think
she has.
No, this was her
I
first
looked at her
published novel. I know that.
Okay, yeah, I looked at her website, and she had a few other books that had the same kind of cover theme.
I would definitely read something
silhouettes.
From her. Yeah. But I thought it was so funny how she was like, got her the engraved shampoo bottle, and she like took it the wrong way and freaked out, and I was just like.
Like, you know, I mean, that kind of leads to the whole like where Minnie is this like well-meaning klutz as far as the things she does, like with her friend's wedding proposal, and her friend's like, "What is all this?" And she's like, "Don't you remember this conversation we had when we were 14?" Like that sounds like something I would say, where I'm like, "Geez, don't you remember that conversation we had when we were 14, Aaron? Gosh."
I don't know, maybe, probably.
Yeah, half the time you do, but still it's that, you know, you have these conversations with your lifelong friends and you're like, oh, this was a pivotal moment for me. Well, it may not have been for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I loved her like friendly relationship with her friend's fiance. Like
yes.
I appreciated that. It wasn't like a whole you're taking my friend from me. They all got along. Like that's more realistic.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't get after their little tiff about folding the business when Ian explained the situation, how Lauren was still mad at her.
Right. That's literally the only note that I put in this book. I was like, I would be like apologizing for years for that.
Yeah.
If it was me.
Oh man. I mean,
it was so awkward. I'm just like, I felt like secondhand embarrassment. I'm like, oh my God.
And
he was like so well-meaning by telling her that, and then she took it. The other one took it the wrong way, and I was just like, oh
God. I had something, but then I lost it.
Yeah, totally went out of my
But yeah, Quinn was almost like a side character in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like, in a way, and I don't mean this is a bad thing, but it was like more of like a novel on growing up, becoming an adult.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I mean, I even felt that way just with like her breaking up with Greg and stuff, where it was just like, it wasn't strictly because of another guy, but it was just that like, oh, hey, you're not what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And realizing that. And I think that's kind of why they kind of did that redemption part with Greg, was that it was like, it's not that they couldn't be friends. It's, you know, I mean, it's one of those things with my ex-wife, like, I'm glad that, you know what, we're not together anymore and that we can actually be pretty good friends.
Yeah.
You know, because we have a child together and we don't have to fight over it. We don't have to be drama out of it. But it's that, you know, being like, hey, okay, you're a different person, whatever. Like, we still have to deal with each other, and look at us. We can still be adults about it. So I feel like that was kind of the point of that, was, you know, more of that growth for her.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I usually don't like a romance that, or really, well, no romances more specifically that have like bad guys in them, especially contemporaries, because it's like, for the most part, I feel like people aren't like bad, unless we're talking like a romantic suspense or something, and there's a murderer in there. That's new.
It's all like the way you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone could think something you did 10 years ago was bad, but you don't even think anything of it. It's all
Yeah.
But I did appreciate that very awkward, like, what was it? His roommate or something was like, sit down and say 3 nice things about each other before you break up. I was like, where was this guy in all my breakups? like, come on.
All I knew during that scene was like, boy, that's not me. I would have just been like, oh, you two are having a moment. Peace. Like, I'm going back to my room.
But
although I'm probably going to listen at the door.
Some people are. They're like, no, we're going to sit down and play nice.
Oh. Gosh.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't, like I said, it was a nice time waster. It was, like I said, I didn't, like, on the whole, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but I didn't feel like I lost, like I was just dragging through it. It was like, okay, all right. Like, as I was listening to it throughout the last few weeks, it's just like, oh yeah, I haven't heard of What's Up with Minnie today, you know, let's go ahead and listen to that.
I feel like this could be like a nice little mini series if they turn it like, do like one of those like one shot 6 episode like BBC mini series type thing.
Oh yeah, totally. I feel like this could be one of those series that, like, I'm not a particular fan of it, but like romance series where it keeps following the same couple through like different stages of relationship.
Don't like those.
You don't
like those. No, but
I usually.
Yeah, me saying that though, it's like I don't mind like going back 5 books later and being like, hey, let's check in on that initial couple. But like I don't want to follow the same couple for 10 years. That's boring.
Yeah. It's been rare that I enjoy a series like that.
Yeah.
There's actually only one.
Agree. Which one?
It's the Cut and Run series by Abigail Rue.
Just check that one out.
I think, is it Abigail Rue? So the first 5 books were written by 2 people.
Like a duo type thing?
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's Madeline Urban and Abigail Rue. But then Abigail just took it over herself. And I think she was actually rewriting the first 5 books too, because she got the right solo, and she was gonna do some correcting, I guess, on the early relationship there. But yeah, anyway, it's 2 male FBI agents, and they get partnered up and have to solve crime, but they're also like super into each other. But you know, so like each book is like a new crime they have to solve, but they're at a different stage of their relationship.
Like a crime of the week type book.
Yeah.
Okay, I could get behind that.
And they're just crack ups, both of them.
I'll have to check it out.
Yes, do so, and let me know what you think of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what's the first one called?
Cut and Run is
okay.
what it's called. Yeah.
Let me write that down so I don't forget.
And they're on audio too, so.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't really have much more. I enjoyed it while I was listening to it. It was easy to keep listening. So.
Do you either of you have a physical copy, or
No,
did you just
no.
listen? Because in the physical book there is recipes for the pies.
Oh.
Like the steak and whatever pie it was is back in the back of the book.
Oh, nice.
I was like, I'll give that a shot one day.
Yeah.
I feel strong enough in my baking abilities.
I hate making pie crust. I feel like you can never get it thin enough. Like,
I just buy it because I can't do it. That's the one thing I can't do. I can't do pie crust.
That's
I can
cheating,
bake all day
Alicia.
long. I can bake all day long.
Oh.
And I leave baking bread to my father. So that's his job.
Nice. Oh, speaking of fathers,
sourdough baker.
Oh yes, yeah. Ryan's the sourdough master here.
You need to teach me your ways because I can never get it right.
It's not too hard. Where do you struggle at?
It's just I get it started and then it doesn't like rise enough or something.
Yeah, you
I
do
don't know if
kind of
that
have to
makes
play
any
with
sense.
your starter and tweak it a little bit. Like, there's definitely some strategy involved in like when you feed it and then get it
Yeah.
going. And yeah,
I'll
what
have
were you
to.
gonna say, Aaron?
Did anyone call that the clocks her dad fixed up were going to be worth something?
No, I didn't even think about it.
I thought it was gonna be like a hoarder situation where they were just gonna like toss them all. I
That's
loved
just
her
cool.
dad though. Her dad was adorable as a
Yeah,
character. I was
yeah.
like, oh, thank you for like giving. Because in a lot of books, there isn't like a strong fatherly figure in a lot of like romances, so that's kind of nice
Right.
to see.
Yeah, and like he was her primary advocate for moving back
Yeah,
in. He's like, no, I'll make room. I'll make room. Yes, of
yeah.
course you can move in. Yeah.
Or he had her back in
Right,
like
right.
any scheme that she wanted to try.
Uh-huh.
You can do it. I was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah. All right. Well, next month is Xenogenesis Book 2. I can't remember what that one was called. Adulthood Rights. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So we will decide on a time date for that one. I think I picked up all of those on Audible because there was a sale or something.
They were like $3 a piece for like a week. I grabbed them.
Nice.
Yeah. So that will.
It's 301 pages.
Oh, that's not too
That's
bad.
good, yeah.
Yeah. But serious subject matter again. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was
I'm
something
sure there's going to be something to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it with Octavia Butler. I do not doubt it.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That was something I wanted to mention on here was expectations. Alicia, you and I had these like huge expectations for the witching hour, and like
Oh my
we were just
God.
like tortured ourselves getting through it. And this one we had like I had no expectations for it.
I
I was
went
just
in
like,
with my expectations on the floor. I was like, it's a romance, whatever. I'll probably have a good time anyway.
Right.
I
I
had a
was like,
ball.
I'm actually really enjoying reading this one. It's really fun.
I think it was just because we went through a couple of really long books, and now like this one was really short. I think I read it in like 2 days, and I was like,
yeah.
Ew. And that series isn't helping either. Oh my God. I just watched the last episode. Like, what the hell?
It's just like, I mean, it's highlighting how little happened in this book that was 1,000 some pages.
I'm like, I can't.
Oh.
The scene on the airplane on the episode of the week before, I'm like, are you serious? They kept that in of all things. They kept that in. Why?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
yeah.
The only character I like is the one that they made up. That's Cyprian, or was that his name?
Cyprian.
Yeah, he's the only one that I actually like. The rest of them can all go off a cliff.
Right. Which he's not even a character that's not even in the book is the best part of the show.
Exactly.
Oh.
I'm just like, why? And my mom because my mom's watching it with me, and she keeps on asking me questions, and I'm like, I have to basically explain it to her because like it doesn't make sense unless you've read the book. And that's the problem because Interview with the Vampire still makes sense if you haven't read the book. The TV show.
Yeah.
This absolutely not.
Yeah, it's just a hot mess.
I'm just like, why do I keep on continuing? Like,
now, have you guys watched The Last of Us at all?
I watched the first episode.
So far, like the first 2 episodes are pretty standard, kind of post-apocalyptic. The third episode I watched today, it was actually really good. I enjoyed it.
I was a little concerned because I've never played the game, so I was like, is it going to be too like?
Yeah, I've never played
meta?
the video games either.
No.
But I felt like, yeah, you know what? Like I watched Walking Dead up until Glenn died.
Until season 4 or season 5.
Season 4 or 5, I don't know in there. But
I gave up after a while. I was like, nothing's happening.
It was one of those things where Walking Dead to me, after a while, it was just like, ugh, how long can you just keep going from crisis to crisis?
The first 3 seasons were great. I love the first 3.
It just felt exhausting.
Yeah.
You know, but so yeah, the first 2 episodes of Last of Us is very much standard post-apocalyptic kind of zombie, and in the 3rd episode they definitely got into more of the like relationship building for some characters and stuff. It was pretty good.
There was a certain scene in the first episode though that like hit me harder than I thought it was gonna hit me. I was like, oh God. Like, wasn't prepared for that. I was like, no.
Yeah.
Is that where the daughter dies?
Mm-hmm. I was just like, and I'm not a crier I'm not a crier on like TV shows or anything. And I'm sitting at like my boyfriend's place, like bawling my eyes out, watching. I'm like, what? Why?
Right.
Oh, it was awful. But I'll watch anything with Pedro Pascal because it's Pedro Pascal, and of course I will.
Yeah, he's great. He's great.
I still can't get over him in Game of Thrones. He was so freaking awesome in that series. And like when his character gets killed by the mountain, like I was like, it had already come out, but I hadn't seen it. And so my friends at work were like, "Oh, you gonna see the episode? Are you gonna see the episode?" I'm like, "Yeah. I'm totally sure the Viper's gonna win." And they're just
did you read the book before you saw the series?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I started the series first, and then I tried to go back, and I read the first book. But at least for the first book, I felt like it followed well enough along. That
it was page for page for the first season.
Yeah.
Like legitimately page for page.
Like I was like, okay, we've got most everything, so I'm not too stressed about it. So I think I made it like halfway through the second book before I petered out.
The third one is the best one out of the whole series.
So the 3rd and 4th one are parallel books, right?
Yes.
Like, yeah. Yes. He had so many perspective characters going at that point. Yeah.
Well, 4 and 5 were also connected too because they told him to split it because he was over like 1,600 pages of manuscript pages.
Oh wow! Okay.
They were like, you can't do this. There's not anything that'll bind it together. Like, there's no.
You can't make a book that big.
And I'm still patiently waiting for book 6. Which is not
I know. I'm not holding my breath.
I'm not holding my breath. Honestly, I would be so happy if it came out though.
Yeah. Yeah. Or have you read the King Killer Chronicles? So that's Name of the Wind and Wise Man's Fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 3rd one's never coming out.
Oh, I know. That's why I read Name of the Wind as a standalone because what the hell was Wise Man's Fear? Like,
self-insert erotica.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't need to read this about Patrick Rothfuss, what he thinks about. No, I'm good. I'm good. But I really like Name of the Wind, but yeah, I read that as a standalone.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, both of my co-hosts, for joining me in reading this book. I will see you next month for Adulthood Rights, and Amber will be joining us again because it's her pick. I hope she's joining us. Anyway, viewers, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching on the replay, or if you were here in the live, and we will see you next time. Bye, folks.